friends, I'm Yakuta Karkhanawala. So let's start with the next topic of pointers, that is array of pointers. This topic is very much useful in real-time projects. When we are going to use array of pointers, that is, if suppose we have a multi-dimensional arrays and we want that a pointer should point to this multi-dimensional arrays, then we need to convert a simple pointer into array of pointers. In the last video, we have seen that we had a single dimension array. For that we were using simple pointer, that is a of 10 was single dimension array and I was using a simple pointer, that is star of p. If I want the pointer should point to this a single dimension array, I was writing p is equal to a. It means that p will point to the first element of an array. So we were using the simple pointers for single dimension arrays. Now if you want multi-dimension arrays, that is ND array, then in that case you have to use n minus 1d array of pointers. That is, if you have two dimension arrays, then you should have single dimension array of pointers. If we have three dimension arrays, then we need 2d array of pointers. Right now we'll deal with only simple single dimension array of pointers. Means this particular pointer will be pointing to a 2d array. How we are going to declare such type of array of pointers? So write down data type. You give any data type, at integer, float, character or so, star p, and convert this pointer into an array. So in square bracket you give the size of. So this size will decide that there are how many pointers, array of pointers, and each pointers will point to some particular memory location. Let's see this with a simple example. Suppose I have an array of pointer here and the size is equal to 3. This array of pointer is of integer type, means I'll have 3 pointers and each 3 pointers will point to an integer value. Then I have 3 variables a, b and c. The values in a, b and c is 1, 2 and 3. So now I want the 3 pointers should point to each of this particular variable. For that what I need to do is I need to initialize these pointers. For initializing the pointers, what we'll do is we'll store the address of each and every variable. So p of 0, that is my first pointer, will have the address of a. P of 1, my second pointer, will have the address of p, and p of 2 will have the address of c. Right, so there are 3 pointers here. Each pointer is accessed by the index. The index starts with 0 and each pointer have the address of one of the variables. Now if I want to display the values 1, 2, 3 using this array of pointers, what I'll do is write down percentage d 3 times because it's an integer value. To display the value 1, what I'll do is p of 0, that is my pointer is pointing to the first variable, and if I want the value, I'll write down star. So star p of 0 means I'll get the value 1. If I write simply p0 means I'll get the address of a. Similarly, star p of 1, that is I'll get the value 2. Star p of 2 means I'll get the value 3. This was the pointers were pointing to simple variables. Now if we want that this array of pointers should point to a multi-dimensional arrays, say for example I have an array of pointer whose size is equal to 10. It means x of 0, since it's a multi-dimension, that is 2-dimension array, this pointers can point to a 2-dimension array. X of 0 will point to the first row, x of 1 will point to the second row of the 2-dimension array, and so on. In this case, we will simply point the pointer to the first element of the first row, first element of the second row, and so on. Right, so how many elements are then in each row is not specified using pointers. Let's understand array of pointers which points to a 2-dimension arrays with an example. So here I have a 2-dimension array which is 3 cross 3, means 3 rows, 3 columns. We all know, right, that the first element will be stored at index 0, 0, then 0, 1, 0, 2 and so on for the rest of them. The last element will be at a of 2 index. So the values right now I will initialize this, that a of 0 is 1, then a of 0, 1 is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are the values of the 2-dimension arrays. If I want array of pointers, what I'll do is I'll take the first pointer p0, it will point to the first row of the array. P1 will point to the second row of the array and P of 2 will point to the third row of the array. Okay, so this is the memory layout of this particular array. I have 9 values inside the array, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These elements are stored at different indexes, that is a of 0, 0, a of 0, 1 and so on. In array, values are stored row wise here. So 1 is stored at address of 1000, value 2 is stored at address of 1002 and similarly for the rest of the addresses are shown here. There should be the difference of 2 because say this array is an integer array, so that make the difference in addresses equal to 2. If it's a float array, you should have the difference in the addresses equal to 4. Now say for example, I want to have any value of this particular array. If I want to have the value of 4, I display it as a of 1 0. But I want to display the value of this two-dimension arrays using pointers. So how you will do this? So there are two different methods here. Suppose if you write P of 5 means P of 5 means you are dealing with the ith row where the pointer is pointing, plus J means jth column of this ith row. And if you want to have the value, put all things in a bracket and then before the bracket write down star. So means we want to have the value of ith row jth column. This same thing here I am using for I am using a square bracket. The same thing can be done using rounded brackets also. For rounding brackets, what you will do is write down star p plus I means you will get the ith row of that particular two-dimension array plus j means jth column of ith row. And if you want to have the value before this bracket, the whole bracket before this bracket you write down star, so you will get the value of that ith row and jth column. So this is the notation of accessing any value in a two-dimension array using pointers. Let's understand this with an example. If I want to have the value of a of 2 1, it means this one, that is the value 8, that is third row and second element. That is third row is at index 2 and second element is at index 1. So using pointers it can be expressed as p of 2 plus 1 bracket and before bracket write down star. So you will get the value. Or for the second notation you can write down star bracket star p plus 2 is the third row plus 1 means the second element of third row. So if you'll display using any of this particular notation, you will get a of 2 1 and that is the value of 8. So this way you can work with array of pointers for two dimensions approach. Let's see one example how to read and display a 2D value using array of pointers. Here we'll store some values in a two-dimension array and we'll display that values using pointer. Declare a two-dimension array a of 3 2. Now there are how many rows in this particular two-dimension array? 3 rows. So I'll have my pointer size is equal to 3. So star p bracket set 3. I and j is for indexes. Now first is initialization of this particular pointers, means we want to store some addresses in this pointers. So for that there are 3 pointers, so I am going to take a loop here. That is, I will be from 0 to 3. For each pointer, that is p of 5, that is, I will be 0. So p of 0, p of 1, p of 2, and so on. So for each pointer, I am storing the address of the first column of each row. So how you will do is ampersand a of I 0. 0 means the first column, I means the row. So that is p of 0 is equal to address of a of 0 0. So the first element of the first row address is stored in p of 0. Similarly, if I write if I is incremented by 1, that is I equal to 1. So this would become p of 1 is equal to ampersand a of 1 0. It means first column of second row, that address is stored in p of 1 and so on for the rest of the pointers element. So now the pointer declaration is done, pointer initialization is done. Now I want to store some values inside this particular array using pointers. So for that we'll take two loops, one for row, another for column. So row will be from 0 to 3, column would be from 0 to 2. Now use scanf to initialize some values inside this particular array. So what you will do is star p plus I, and you will get the ith row plus j means the jth column. Before this bracket, do not put star here because in scanf we need to pass the addresses of ith row and jth column. We don't have to write down star, the second star here. Okay, simply put bracket. So using this loop and scanf will have some elements in this two-dimension array. Now if you want to display the values of the two-dimension arrays, again take two loops and write down the same format, that is star p plus I plus j. But this time we'll be using this extra star to get the values of ith row and jth column. When you'll execute this particular program, we'll get this output, that is enter array elements input. This is for the scanf portion, that is I have inputted 6 values 127495, and this is the display part. So this was all about array of pointers where we were dealing with integer arrays. Now we'll see array of pointers with string. Array of pointers are used for storing number of different strings. Means if you want to store more than one names, or you want to store the company name, right, or if you want to store the number of different addresses, then we can use array of pointers. That the array of pointers should work in a strings, we have to use the data type array. So in normal method, if you want to have an array of pointers on string, means if you want to store number of different strings, and we used to write like character name 512, means we are going to store 5 names and each names will be having maximum of 12 characters. Okay, this was our normal notations or declaration of an two-dimension array. But if you want to have a pointer which can store 5 different names, in that case we'll use the data type character and we'll convert the name into a pointer, so star name. But this name pointer will not be a simple one, but it would be an array of pointers. So give the size. So when I give the size is equal to 5, it means I'll have 5 pointers and each pointer will have one individual string. So name of 0 is the pointer which will point to the first name, name of 1 will point to the second name, and so on. Say for example, I have declared an array of pointer on string. Okay, so use a character data type. I want to store 5 different names. So here I am storing 5 different colors. The first one is yellow, second is red, green, magenta, and purple. Now if I want to pick up any particular character of this particular color, so say for example, if I write star bracket name plus 2 plus 1, it means third name and second character. So which is our third name? 2 means the third name, that is green. 1 is means column, that is second character, that is R. When I write it in this notation, means I am referring to the second character in the third name. So when I'll display this character using %C, I'll get R. Similarly, if I write star bracket name plus 3 plus 4, means I'm referring to the fifth character in the fourth name, right? So this is for the first is for I and the second is for J, right? So which is the fifth character in the fourth name? The fourth name is magenta and the fifth character is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is N. N is the fifth character. So I'll get output as is equal to N. So this is the way you can work array of pointers with strings, which is very much useful in real-time examples. And using this array of pointers here, we can also access individual characters of the strings. So that's all for today. That is, we have covered array of pointers on integers as well as string with different varied examples. That's all for today. Goodbye. Thank you.